Good morning. Good morning, folks.
Good morning.
Hi, we're going to wait just a few minutes as everyone logs on. While we're waiting, we can get acquainted. You're welcome to unmute and introduce yourself or drop your name and organization in the chat. We have a nice group coming in today. See many repeat customers. It's nice to see you. Hi, Brad. Good morning. Jennifer, welcome. Welcome, everyone. I see Jen Hazlitt. Good morning. Lots of folks returning from other fundraising Fridays as well. Emily, welcome. Welcome. I see a number of people coming from the Cambridge Volunteer Clearinghouse, and we're glad to have you this morning. We're just waiting another minute until we get started with the program. Shantae, I hope I said your name right. Good morning. Lori, Winchester Community Music School. Great. Pat, nice to see you. Dolores, great group. All right, well, in the interest of your time, for those of you who are here, we welcome you to this next Fundraising Friday, and this is a special one. It's our nonprofit open house. My name is Phyllis Corkum. I'm the coordinator of programs and services at Philanthropy Massachusetts. In case you're new to us, Philanthropy Mass is an organization that bridges and serves both the philanthropic and nonprofit communities. Our Nonprofit Partners program offers a wide range of training and networking opportunities for professionals in this sector. We provide access to research and resources for fundraising teams and give nonprofit organizations more visibility within and access to the grant-making community. We're thrilled you have joined us for one of our Fundraising Fridays, which are usually free hour-long coffee talks. I hope you have your mug, facilitated by thought leaders from the social sector. Today's program is a little unusual. You will meet our staff, take a virtual tour through our grants research tools and services that might be new to you, and maybe you'll win a free course during the holiday cheer portion of the program. First, I would like you to know who is in the room with us today. So I'm going to share my screen. We have a great group. Excuse me one second. I'm not the tech professional here. We have organizations from across the sector, from New England Justice for Our Neighbors to Community Theater, Rain Immigration Center, the Children's Trust, the He Is Me Institute. And we're glad that many of you who are not yet partners have joined us. And to our partners, we hope you learn about some services that might not have been on your radar before. So thank you all for coming, and your logos are great. Now I'd like to introduce you to the Philanthropy Mass staff. This is our team. There are 10 of us on staff. Most of us are here today. Here is Jeff Poulos, our CEO, Alex McCrae, our Senior Director of Programs, and Kelton Artuso, our Associate Director of Programs.
Why is my speaker not working?
I'm introducing them because they are not able to join us this morning, but they are with us in spirit. Our Senior Director of Communications, Gail Pinkham, will introduce herself now and then kick off the program with a little history about Philanthropy Mass. And then you'll meet the rest of our team who will share a bit about their areas of work. Gail, thank you for getting us started. You're unmute, Gail. If I had a nickel for every time I did that.
Sorry, and I was on a roll. Thank you, Phyllis. Good morning, everyone. As Phyllis mentioned, I'm Gail Pinkham, Senior Director of Communications here at Philanthropy Massachusetts. I've been with the organization for almost 20 years. I can't believe I'm saying that. In my role, I'm responsible for marketing our funder programs and events through our newsletter, email campaigns, and social media outreach to our members, networks, and the philanthropic community. As Phyllis also mentioned, our CEO, Jeff Poulos, couldn't be with us this morning, so I was asked as the veteran of the team to give a brief history of our organization. with next month being my 20-year anniversary at Philanthropy Mass. Although I have the longevity here, I just want it recorded since this is being recorded. That doesn't make me older than Jeff. Although I've been here a long time, when I started at Associated Grantmakers, or AGM it was known then, it had already been around for 33 years. In 1969, Associated Grantmakers of Greater Boston was formed by 15 foundation trustees and corporate executives who recognized the need for a centralized location of professional support and assistance for those making grants in the Greater Boston area. Over the next couple of decades, membership had grown to include foundations throughout the Commonwealth and even into New Hampshire. This resulted in the first name change to Associated Grantmakers of Massachusetts, and then eventually dropping Massachusetts altogether from its name around 2001. And then in 2018, we announced our new name, Philanthropy Massachusetts, as our organization has grown to encompass all kinds of philanthropic service organizations across the Commonwealth, including grant makers, nonprofits, consultants, and wealth management firms. When AGM was founded, the mission was to help grant makers make well-informed grant decisions. And towards that goal, in 1971, a foundation research library, in collaboration with the Foundation Center in New York, was open to all free of charge in the Washington Street office here in Boston. And during this time period, AGM's role in encouraging grant maker accountability and transparency began to take shape. In its annual report to the public that it would do every year, AGM would include descriptive profiles of their foundation members, explaining their grant making programs and outlining their interests and guidelines. And in 1983, AGM to take on the job of producing this Massachusetts Foundation Directory. And this eventually led to what became known for AGM's Grantmakers Directory, with listings of over 400 foundation profiles that became a trademark signature for us. And then, and that was in print back then. And then it eventually became to be a database. But then in 1984, to expand our service offerings to nonprofit organizations, the Partners Program was born. And that nonprofit Partners Program received a newsletter, discounts on publications such as the Grantmakers Directory, and workshops, including the Meet the Donor series. And today, our Partners Program includes close to 500 nonprofit organizations. We offer RFP listings, grant research, grant writing programs, the Nonprofit Learning Institute, and most recently, our fundraising certificate program. Today, Philanthropy Mass serves as a bridge between the grant-making community and nonprofit community. And our mission is to promote the practice and expansion of effective and responsible philanthropy to improve the health and vitality of our region. I hope that gives a good overview of where we are and how we got there.
Now I'm doing it. Thank you, Gail. I had to unmute.
I started a trend.
I'm going to ask each of our staff to share a few interesting or fun facts about their work. So Gail, what are your fun facts about the area of communications that you've been working in for the last 20 years?
Sure. Oh, we don't have to keep saying that. Okay, well, my fun facts have to do with the member newsletter that I produce. Our newsletter reaches over 900 foundation staff at the 131 funder organizations we have in our network. And in the newsletter, we feature a nonprofit partner spotlight. It highlights the impact of the nonprofit organization in their own words, along with a photo. And this nonprofit profile is seen by those 900 plus foundation staff when it enters their inbox. My second fun fact of that is that your nonprofit can be featured in our newsletter too. Submissions are open to all nonprofit partners. So if you're currently a nonprofit partner, please consider sending your profile to Phyllis. And if you are soon to be a partner, please add it to your to-do list when you join.
Thank you so much, Gail. And now, and don't forget those spotlights, those are great. Now to the rest of our staff. Georgiana, thanks. Georgiana Woods might be a familiar face for many of you. She's our research associate and the manager of our Meet the Donors series. Georgiana, good morning.
Hi, Phyllis. Good morning, everybody. Thanks. Just a quick intro. Phyllis already mentioned a couple of the buckets of work that I do. I've been here a little less time than Gail, but about 17 years. And my main work is around the Meet the Donors program, coordinating it. It's a team effort, pulling off the shows, but I select the speakers and whatnot. Then also we're doing office hours these days, which I do, and that's where any member could sign up to ask whatever questions they have. We can do an FDO, Foundation Directory Online tutorial, or just whatever questions are on your mind. And if I don't know the answer, I'll ask somebody, I'll find out for you. And then also, I do research for both members, our grant making members and our nonprofit partners, because we have access to a number of really great resources, Foundation Directory Online, GuideStar, Foundation Maps, and also listservs that we are part of. And so we can always relay questions and try to get feedback. So that's my intro.
Thank you. And Georgiana is very humble. She is like the librarian of grants. I mean, she knows so much and has been doing this for a long time. So I think when you need some help, you've got a great resource here in Georgiana. Thanks so much. You've likely received an email or requested information from Catherine Cook, who works behind the scenes on all of our programs. I mean, every single one, and she makes them run smoothly. So hi, Catherine. I'm going to turn things over to you.
Yeah. Hi, all. I'm Catherine, and I'm the Programs and Administrative Associate at Philanthropy Mass. So I kind of serve as the first line of contact for the organization on anything related to your account, benefits, resource needs, programming needs, etc. And then I also help a lot with the logistics around all of our programming, including funder, nonprofit, and network activities and events. And then finally, I also help with a lot of our internal administrative tasks. So processing payments and donations, tracking information around our fiscal sponsorships, supporting our CEO with his board duties, you know, basic office management stuff. So yeah, that's I get to touch all the different elements of our organization in a lot of cool ways. So that's a little bit about me here. And I'm in the office today, as you can see. And I guess a fun fact about my role and my job. So I've been here for 2 years now, or almost 2 years. I started January 2020, and last year we hosted, I believe, close to 120 programs, which across all of our, funders, nonprofits, and networks events. And I got to attend almost all of them, which was really awesome as a newbie. So, and I think this year we're coming up on 140 programs. So, we're just going up and up. So it's really been a pleasure to learn and get to know my colleagues, even from this virtual setting. Yeah, you all received an email from me today, and you'll receive many more probably. Yep. So that's a little bit about me.
Thanks, Catherine. You can see that she is in the office. We each go in occasionally now. Sometimes I scroll past her on my wheelie chair. So thanks so much for and now on to a few folks who might be new to you because they work either primarily with the philanthropic institutions or with our One Grants program. Sean Higgins is the Summer Fund Program Manager. His role is slightly different because he manages that grants program. Hi, Sean.
Hey, Phyllis. Thanks again for having me today. Really appreciate it. Grateful to be a part of this conversation and to just make my introduction to folks. Because I sit at sort of an interesting wing of Philanthropy Massachusetts. I'm the only member of the organization that really does the day-to-day work of direct sort of grant making. And so that, what that looks like for me is the Summer Fund is a now 50-year-old donor collaborative, collection of typically around 20 funders, giving out generally about $1 million a year in the space of youth summer enrichment. And so typically we work with anywhere from 50 to 60 organizations to just help support their work in a number of ways. That's general operating grants. It's also, it also looks into sort of strategic elements and initiatives such as arts access, teen leadership and workforce development, homeless youth and making sure that they're getting out to camp in the summertime. And most recently, we've really sort of spearheaded a few grant making campaigns around transportation, and this past year really focusing in and homing in on how we can support the mental health of youth. So I really am sort of responsible for managing all of those grant programs, and it's very exciting, fulfilling work, and really excited just to be a part of this team, and grateful to have had the opportunity to sort of speak with you guys. In terms of my fun facts, I mean, I have a very interesting role, and so my first one, I'm gonna shout out Phyllis on this one, because we were out this summer. We were at a site visit with one of our really good partners, Boston Explorers. So fantastic camp out of Roxbury. And I was tasked with bringing the lunches from the Hernandez School in Roxbury all the way to the Museum of Fine Art. So if you can catch me around the city sometimes, I may be carrying around like 30 bagged lunches and water bottles. Another sort of interesting fact, so, in this role, obviously you do a lot of getting out to camps and engaging with youth and staff and what have you. And on these site visits, I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, what's a fun fact about this work? On these site visits, I have actually been on 5 different types of boats. I've been on a ferry, I've been on a kayak, I've been on a pontoon boat, I've been on a speedboat, and I've been on, what's the last one? Shoot. I've done it so many, I forget the last one.
It wasn't a duck boat?
No, it wasn't actually, though I have done that out of my work capacity. But yeah, no, it's just like, it's bizarre, the types of things that you get into. It's carrying lunches, it's getting on boats, but the day-to-day work. No, not a dinghy. See, I'll probably remember it, put it in the chat if I do, but it's a very interesting work, and really, one of the things I think that's really exciting about this is that we get to engage with, that it's a means through which Philanthropy Massachusetts as a whole really engages with the city in which, and the area in which that, it's sort of, our brick and mortar offices, and we sort of get to sort of engage with nonprofits in a way that's a bit different. And I think that's really kind of exciting for us, and certainly for me, and hopefully for you guys as well.
Gosh, thanks. It sounds like you're at camp, Sean.
Sometimes it feels like it.
And last but not least, we'll hear from Jessica Burns, who is our Network Vibrancy Director. She works solely with funders in a relatively new role that grew out of the funders' interest in working together around a specific issue area or geographic area. So, hi, Jessica.
Hi, Phyllis. Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. As Phyllis said, my name is Jessica Burns. My title is Network Vibrancy Director. I'm in a position that was created based on kind of an assessment of what the sector, the philanthropic sector, was asking for and could benefit from. And that manifested in a new strategic plan for our organization about 3.5 years ago. And then the position was created, and I've been in it for almost 3 years. So as Network Vibrancy Director, I lead efforts to cultivate, convene, and support new and existing funder groups across the Commonwealth. So I foster coordination, learning, and collaboration amongst grant makers. And that looks like running multiple network meetings every month. So in that number that Catherine gave of however 100 programs, 100+ programs we're running every year, a good number of those are funder networks. So just as nonprofits are gathering in this space on Fridays or in courses or trainings with Philanthropy Mass or in other ways, funders are doing the same thing. They are motivated to do that because they believe that together they will be stronger as a funder community in the state.
Thank you so much. And after your fun facts, Jessica, I'm wondering if you would share just a bit more about the general funder programs.
Yeah, sure. Fun fact. Okay, so I consider Massachusetts to be a relatively small state, but within our small state, we have 5 place-based funder networks that we convene and contribute to. So hopefully this reflects kind of where you're geographically based, and you probably know some of these funder communities, but Cape Cod and the islands, Central Massachusetts, which includes Worcester and North Central Mass, Essex County, the Greater Lowell area, and Western Mass. So those are 5 examples of funders in those geographies getting together to talk about the needs of the communities where they are, and thinking about how to be the best funders they can be for nonprofits in their region. We also have, another fun fact is we have a specific network. This is wordy, but it's important. And a specific network for executive directors of family foundations who are not family members. So as I'm sure you've encountered through your grant seeking, family foundations are very unique, can be opaque and kind of hard to break through to, but it's also sometimes hard when you're on the inside of a family foundation. So this is a space just for the executive directors who aren't family members. And then if you add it all up between the 5 place-based, the family, ED, foundation group, altogether we have 11 funder networks focused on learning, collaboration, and more equitable grant making. That's what I would say. The reason they're coming together is to build stronger relationships amongst their foundations, but also to think about how to be more generous, more effective, and more equitable grant makers. So that's kind of what I do as Network Vibrancy Director. But networks are under the umbrella of our funder programs writ large. So I can share a few things about those funder programs, and Gail already did a super job, really comprehensive. So some of what I'm gonna speak to might overlap, but essentially we are, as Philanthropy Massachusetts, and 50 plus, almost 55 years, we're a leading, and I'd say, yeah, influential voice and advocate for effective philanthropy. So we provide access to knowledge and cooperative action that helps grant makers to shape the future of Massachusetts with their grant making dollars. We have about, like when you look at our database, we have approximately 2,000 individuals that represent the foundation landscape across the state. Those are foundations and giving institutions, and they all in some way take part in our programs, in our funding collaboratives like the Summer Fund, and in our networks. These could be corporate foundations, community foundations, donor advised fund holders. And just to make it a little more specific, really any, I'd say we're least representative of individual donors, like the individual who just writes a check, a meaningful check to one of your organizations. But we do have wealth management companies in our membership, charitable trust departments, operating foundations, private independent foundations. We really represent the whole sector, the whole philanthropic sector. And that's kind of all of the information that Georgiana is really good at helping to access, as are all the tools we offer our nonprofit friends and partners. Our programming focuses on trends in philanthropy, topical issues, policy issues, and professional development. So in a way, mirroring some of what you do with our nonprofit programs, we do offer to our funders. Another thing we do really specifically around professional development is we have a program called Philanthropy 101, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a cohort program. More than 50 grant makers participate in that. And so it's really also influencing the future of the sector. And it's possible that you as a nonprofit have collaborated or benefited from the foundations that we work with, or even participated in a training. For example, our Mass Community Foundation partnership, together with the Mass Nonprofit Network, has built in the last year and a half specialized training and support to nonprofit networks. So if you haven't, for example, benefited from something like that, or want to learn more, you can talk to Phyllis. I want to finish up, but more than anything, I think what we'd like to convey is that as a philanthropy serving organization, so that's what we are, a PSO, and a PSO that works with both nonprofits and funders, and that's pretty unique. We have sister organizations across the country that don't do both, but for 50 years we've been doing both, working with nonprofits and funders, and we really see ourselves as a bridge between those two communities. That means we run joint programs, multiple every year, including one on participatory grant making this week. And joint program means funders and nonprofits, once upon a time physically in the same room and now in the same virtual space. We do a Meet the Donors program 4 to 5 times a year. We have that funder newsletter that spotlights nonprofits. So really, we are trying to do our best, and in all the ways that we know how and with the tools at our disposal, to bring funders and nonprofits into conversation for the betterment of communities across the state.
Gosh, thanks so much, Jessica. I feel like I'm learning as well. And another thing that is very tangible for all of you is the common application forms. Funders asked for those and created those years ago. We're now working on a way to make them virtual, to make it on an online process, but several of the smaller foundations, particularly family foundations, some donor advised funds, actually use that common app on our website for their philanthropic grant making. So you want to become familiar with that, and that grew out of the funders' interest. So before we take the tour through the Nonprofit Partners Program, really while you're here, does anyone have questions for any of our staff now that you've met us? Well, feel free to drop any questions in the chat if any do arise. And now I'm going to share my screen again, which is not my strong suit. We're going to take a tour through the Nonprofit Partners Program via our website in some cases, just because of the virtual nature. I'm going to show you some of our fundraising and resources. I'm happily able to say that Gail and Catherine and others are working on a new website for us that will soon make all of these services easier to access. So let me take you to the website. And this is our main page. Our portion for grant seekers is right here. In this past several months, we have updated our Nonprofit Partners Program. One of the big things that we've changed is the access to, or trying to greater the access for small nonprofits. We have instituted a sliding scale fee so that instead of having levels of service and you pay more for more service, we now have the same service for all partners and just have a sliding scale fee so that the smallest organizations pay only $100. We want to make sure that all partners have access to the grant resources tools that you're about to see. I'm just going to walk us through a little bit about the what we've heard about the joint programs and the Meet the Donors series. The joint programs are rather organic. They come out of the field from those of you in the nonprofits and from funders who have an interest in a particular topic. For example, that participatory grant making session that we had just 2 days ago, which was the third in a series. I'm sure you've seen our core workshops. We offer introduction to grant making, advanced grant making. Next week on Wednesday, Georgiana and I will be doing an introduction to grants research. Coming up in the spring, not all of our programs are up yet, but many of them are. You can find our events here on the website. One that is a particular note is a new course of how to create a deferred and planned giving program at no extra cost to your organization, which is phenomenal. And our next fundraising Friday is actually January 7th. And here with us today is our leader for that session. So I would like you to meet Jen Hazlett, who also is the instructor for our fundraising certificate program, also a new program for us, which is key. We love having this opportunity now to work with Jen and to be able to offer a very robust and a complete overview of grant making. I wish I had started when I started in this field 30 years ago. I wish I was sitting at Jen's feet. So Jen, if you'd like to just introduce yourself, that would be great.
Sure. Hi, folks. Lovely to be with you all today. It was really neat to have a chance to meet virtually all of the folks who are working at Philanthropy Massachusetts. I haven't met you all yet, so lovely to connect and hear a little bit more about what you all do. I am really just honored to work as a partner with Philanthropy Massachusetts to create programs that really specifically address the needs of small to mid-sized nonprofits. I do quite a few trainings throughout the year, really focused on building confidence in asking donors for support. What does that actually look like? How do I prepare myself? How can I be a little less anxious? And that is a lot of the focus of what our January 7th class is going to be, really about how do you actually pick up the phone? What should your invitation be like to invite a donor to a conversation with you? Because we know that the single most important thing that you can do to increase your leadership donors is to actually have conversations with folks. And so many of us get anxious and stop ourselves in actually doing it. So on January 7th, we're going to have an honest conversation about what does that look like? How do you really make those relationships happen and encourage yourself to put away the anxiety and reach out and have real conversations with your donors to invite them in. So happy to have conversations further with all of you on January 7th. Hope we'll have a chance to connect.
Great, thank you. I mean, that's a wonderful opportunity to meet Jen on January 7th in a free session. Our fundraising Fridays are always free. So we appreciate you, you being here today.
B2B, thanks.
I will also mention just a few other items on our nonprofit partners program. Let me see if I can share my screen again. I'm gonna have to turn off Jen. I'm getting there, Jen. You won't be on the screen all day. That fundraising certificate program, unfortunately, the application process is now closed for the next session of that. It's a 6-month cohort program that we offer now every year. And I hope it's something that you will look at for the future. But what is coming up right now, and you'll be able to apply in January if you're interested, and this is a free program, is our Nonprofit Learning Institute. Our Nonprofit Learning Institute is a partnership that we do along with Bank of America. That's why we're able to offer it for free. With that program, it's comprised of a series of technical assistance and capacity building sessions with the goal of fostering and empowering leaders in this nonprofit sector. 20 nonprofits from across the sector will be selected to participate. It includes 4 sessions with areas addressed, including strategic planning, capitalization and financial stability, dealing with your board. That's a big topic, and breaking down barriers to fundraising. The 2022 MPLI sessions will be held virtually, and applications will be open from January 4th to 24th. We will have an information session on January 11th. So we'll put information up in the chat about that if you would like to join us for that info session. So many of you are here to get a glimpse into the grant's research tools and resources. So now we're going to turn to those particular pieces, and we are thrilled that you're going to see one of our nonprofits here today who uses the FDO, the Foundation Directory Online, frequently. We have offered access to the Foundation Directory Online for many years, but now you can access it from the comfort of your home or office. And to tell you about the Foundation Directory Online is our grant specialist, Georgiana.
Thanks, Phyllis. I'll just go through my blurb and then I'll share my screen so you can just get a quick look at what I'm talking about. The Foundation Directory Online, also known as FDO, and GuideStar are the two key tools for you all and also for grant makers too. They are both databases produced by an organization called Candid, which many of you already know of. And you can buy various levels of subscriptions from Candid, but these databases are also accessible via a Philanthropy Mass membership. And we have the professional level of FDO and GuideStar Pro. Both are higher levels of these products with deeper functionality. So that's a big plus and important thing to know. The FDO is the go-to place for grant seekers to search for foundations that might be in alignment with their work, with your work. And you can search by geographic focus. It has over 200,000 records for foundations. You can search geographic focus, topic of interest, and many other parameters. So you'll see shortly, Tessa will share her screen and show you a glimpse at that database and how they use it. The FDO, it's more efficient than Google because many foundations still don't have websites. So that's really important to make note of. And the information in the FDO is largely pulled from Foundation 990 forms. They all have to fill out 990 forms just like you all do. And on those forms, they have to list who they give to and the amount. And so that is harvested automatically now since 2015. It's just is an automatic system where the database pulls it in, tags the information with terms, and so forth. So it's not perfect, and there is an effort to try to get grant makers and funders to put more of a descriptor on grants so that it's more accurate in terms of what the nature of a grant might be and so forth, so you can get a better alignment or figure out alignment. And then in terms of GuideStar, GuideStar is on the flip side, it's the go-to place for grant makers to use to research you all a lot of times. And it's important in terms of looking at financials and so forth. And so just a word to the wise, just check out your GuideStar page and make sure it's really up to date. And so I'll share my screen without further ado and show you a couple of things. Let me just, once again, sorry, just take a second. Okay. Sorry, hang on a sec. I'm gonna get there. Okay, so share screen. And let's see what we see here. Can you all see my screen at this moment?
Not yet. There we go.
You see it? Okay, good. Foundation Directory Online, as you'll see in a moment, and many of you already have seen, here it is. So this is what it'll look like, and Tessa will give you a quick tour of that. So let me just get the next one. And GuideStar, I wanted to pull up a record for you to just check out real quick, Boston Children's Chorus, so you can just get a sense for what kind of things you'll see in there and how important it is. And so that's something just to be aware of, and you can update your profile just by going there. You can set up a free account, so it's very accessible. And so this is what a profile in GuideStar Pro will look like. So it's really tells you a lot, and the financials are the key thing I think that most people are kind of looking for. So that's right down here. And then finally, to sign up for these things and office hours, where you can talk about, ask whatever questions you have, obviously pertaining to this subject area, but if you go to our website, once you're logged in, you can go to resources and tools and go to either sign up to use the Foundation Directory Online using the calendar here. You'll see, you can just scroll down, select a time, tomorrow, or today there's some time, 3 o'clock. And then the office hours are also on our website there, and you can sign up for those as well. So feel free to do that. It's Tuesday and Wednesday are the days that they're being offered right now, but we can also do by appointment too. So reach out to us if those times don't work. So without further ado, I wanted to turn this over to Tessa, and she's going to she's with Boston Area Gleaners, and she's going to share with us how their team uses the FDO. So take it away, Tessa.
Thanks, Georgiana. Hi, everyone. Good morning. So I will share my screen. Oop, as soon as Georgiana, you stop sharing your screen. Thank you. All right, I'll share my screen with you and show you all a typical, very shortened session for our team. So once you sign up for your appointment, you'll receive an invitation to use the FDO in your email. And then you can just click the link and it'll bring you to the FDO homepage where you log in. And you can easily reset your password or email if you run into any issues there. And then this is sort of the home page for searching within the system. So my team, there are a few of us on my team that share a profile because we found it to be easier than exporting our results every time and sharing them through spreadsheets or discussing each thing. So show you a few little tricks that we use as well. One really cool feature is save searches. So our organization is focused on food security and local food system stability and local agriculture. So you'll see that reflected in our searches here. But you can see any searches that you have saved. So between our team members, we're able to see where people have already spent time. So we're not duplicating efforts. So I see we've done a lot of searching around food and aid, so I might today decide to focus more so on the agricultural realm of our work. So I always use an advanced search because you can make things much more particular. So you can pick a subject area. I would maybe do agriculture today, and then you can pick a geographic focus if you'd like, and it can be pretty well defined or broader. And then you can add in other criteria if you'd like, but I tend to keep my searches broad and then spend a lot of time going through the results so that we cast as wide of a net as possible. So you can click search and then you get a little overview of your results here. So you can see that you get results of grant makers, grants, recipient, agencies or organizations, and then also you can see the tax information in this category. Then you can scroll down to see more particulars with each category, but I typically look at the grant makers because we are trying to expand our fundraising to funders that aren't necessarily accepting applications. So I found that looking at grant makers is a good way to really see any possible funders. So you can do things here with setting limits for total giving. Like maybe you don't want to waste your time per se with folks that aren't giving out the big money. So you can set that if you'd like. And then you can go through your results. So if you see something that looks interesting, you can click on them. Merck Family Fund is one that we partner with actually. So I know they're a good fit for us, and there's lots of tools here within the profile page for each funder. This page is incredibly useful. You can see where their funding is primarily going and the distribution of it. You can see that geographically as well. So I pretty much always just look at this map and see, is it dark over here? Yes, it is. That means a lot of funding. Awesome. And you can see how big the grants are typically. And then there's a lot more information on this page. Who they're sending grants to, their funding interests, if they have a mission, other similar funders, instructions for the application if they have one, giving limitations, financials, people associated with the foundation, and then also there's typically contact information. So really useful stuff here on this profile page. And then as far as keeping things organized within the system, we are still figuring out the best way to do this because it can get a little complicated just based on the breadth of information within here. So oftentimes we will download PDFs of interesting funders and then share them within our team, or you can favorite things and then you'll be able to access them later through your dashboard, or you can use tags, which we do a lot. So I could tag it as good fit or not a good fit. You can see our existing tags. We say good fit, not a good fit, potential fit, reviewed, sponsorship potential, or we have a team member named Duck. So oftentimes I'll come in and see things that I think look good, and then we'll tag them Duck. So she knows to look at them because she has been around longer than me with our organization. So she often knows things about funders that I don't. So yeah, I would say that's a basic overview. Is there anything else in particular that you all would like me to show, Phyllis or Georgiana?
No, this is great. Are there any questions from our participants?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there any way with the database to download some basic information that you might put into a spreadsheet for yourself, such as, grant ranges and key, in other words, to compile this into one spreadsheet with multiple funders? Is there any way to do that?
Yeah, there definitely is. That's a great question. And that is one thing we do a lot. So oftentimes what I end up doing is using a particular tag for that day. So if I find like, I'll tag 3 things not a good fit, and then I can pull up that tag, and then you can use these tools here. So you can download a spreadsheet, you can download a PDF of all of their profiles, or you can email a PDF straight from the system. So that's definitely doable. And it basically is a spreadsheet that looks like this, the name, basic information, that sort of thing.
Okay. Great, thank you. That's really helpful.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other questions?
And I'll just chime in. One quick tip is when you're using the database, if you are new to your organization, and even if you're not, you might want to look up your own organization to see if there's any funders from way back when that used to fund and then for whatever reason dropped off the radar. So sometimes you'll find some good leads that way too. So just because you can look up by organization to see who is funding them. So if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. And Georgiana, Den has a question in the chat that I think that you can address. So
is that the GiveWell? Oh, Den. Okay.
No. Yeah. Thank you so much, Tessa, for your clear and concise tour through the FDO, and we thank your team for sharing you with us today. I know that you folks are in the database weekly, and it's wonderful to see. In addition to this tool is our RFP, our request for proposal database, and Catherine Cook will quickly show us where to access that resource.
Sure, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. Let's see, I'll go through this really quickly because we're running short on time, but so when you log in on our website, here is what your account page will look like. And if you're an active partner and you've purchased a partnership, you'll have this RFPs tab up here at the top. And that's how you get to the RFP catalog. You can also access it on the side here. It'll be listed here if you have an active partnership. And then we try to update this pretty regularly. You can sort by foundation. You can sort by when the RFP was posted, if you're in here pretty regularly and you just want to see what's new, or you can sort by deadline. And when you click into the RFP, and we also post some rolling RFPs, so those are in there indefinitely. And when you go to click on the RFP, what's listed is the name of the foundation running the program, their website, usually a little introduction about the RFP, some of the guidelines, and then we always include the link to the actual RFP. So that usually we'll have a hyperlink to where the RFP can be found on the organization's website. And then here you can find application requirements, more about deadlines and contact information about the grant. So that is our database. It's pretty simple, and you can also search by program interest as well. So this is, yes, one of the other tools that we offer as a benefit to the partnership.
Great. Thank you so much, Catherine. So we're going to go to our gallery view, and I've changed my background to the holiday theme because this is the holiday portion of the program, and wanted to do just a few just fun activities. I actually think we will have time for holiday bingo. So we are going to do a bingo game, which is a nonprofit. You'll have it's nonprofit trivia. Please feel free to chime out, unmute yourself or put the answers in the chat because all of us will need to know what the answers are in order to play this bingo game. So you should all be getting, if you click on the link in the chat, I'll be getting bingo cards via Bingo Baker. I'm going to ask you questions, shout out the answer or put them in the chat, and you'll find those answers on your bingo card. And whoever wins the bingo first, or NPP, Nonprofit Partner Program, ! first, will get a course. So after that, we will have more time for questions. I just want to make sure we do give our free courses away, and we're so glad that you're here with us. So if you have a holiday background, feel free to use it. Okay, so does everybody have their bingos? Give me a thumbs up, or everybody generated their bingo cards? You got to play to win. All right, good. Okay, so Joanne, hi Joanne, I see we've got, okay, there we go, it's our gallery view. Okay, first question. What's the number of community foundations in Massachusetts? Anybody want to guess? All right, 16 is the answer. All right, yay, thank you, Amber. All right, 16. So if you have 16 on your card, mark it off. Way to go, Danielle. All right. What is the largest monthly publication for the charitable community? Anybody? What do we all get online in our inboxes? That big
Chronicle of
magazine.
Philanthropy.
Yay! All right, Chronicle of Philanthropy. The Chronicle. Way to go. All right, competition's heating up now. You want that course. Where does most charitable giving come from? Foundations, individuals, corporations? Everybody knows this, right?
Individuals.
Individuals, thank you.
Individuals.
Hey, thanks for unmuting. I like hearing your voice. Yes, great. So yes, foundations are important, corporations less important. It's a little slice. Individuals are where it's at. The governing body for a nonprofit organization.
Board of Directors.
Board of Directors.
Thank you. All right. Somebody's asking how many total funders are in the FDO. Georgiana, do you know that? We'll answer that in the chat.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Who is the biggest philanthropist of all time? Despite the obscene money.
Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie.
Yep. He's still by far the largest based on asset size nonprofit in Massachusetts. This is a toughie. All right, combined Jewish philanthropies.
Ooh, that just gave me bingo.
Whoa, way to go, Danielle. All right. We are going to give you a course, so you just let us know. Contact me. Danielle, it's nice to see you win.
I'm so happy.
All right. Way to go. Okay, well, sorry you won't get the other trivia, but we do have one more fun game after we open it up to any questions people might have for any of our staff. Of course, we're trying to keep an eye on the chat, but if there's any questions you want to shout out, please feel free to. All right, then we're going on to our game of chance, actually. Excuse me, where we have a wheel. Catherine, will you spin the wheel? I'll share your screen.
Yeah.
And if it lands on your name, whoever it lands on, you can share a bit about your organization, and then you too will leave today with a free course.
All right.
Good luck.
Missy, we have a winner, Missy. Missy, are you still here with us?
Yeah, but I'm not sure if there's another Missy. I go by Melissa and Missy. Are there any other Missies out there?
Not that I saw. I think you're the only one.
All right.
Well,
Way
hi,
to go,
everybody.
Missy. Hi.
I'm Missy Walker. I'm Deputy Director at Whale and Dolphin Conservation. We're an international marine conservation group, and our North American headquarters are in Plymouth, Mass. And we focus on protecting whales and dolphins and their ocean homes, because the ocean creates over half of the Earth's oxygen, and we still don't know how much carbon it sequesters. And so that underpins all of our work. Globally, we work on whaling, we work on captivity issues. In the States, we're focused more on creating safe and healthy seas. So we're working on the Marine Mammal Protection Act, making sure that that stays intact, as well as the endangered species. We're working to prevent the extinction of two distinct populations of whales, the North Atlantic right whale and the southern residents on the West Coast. And we were just granted a permit from NOAA to do a rescue and response program that will cover from Plymouth to Marshfield, which is about 100 miles of coastline.
Wow.
And then we have an education program that we just received multi-year funding from the Sheen family companies. So we have an education director, and we are also piloting a really important study on using on-demand fishing technology or ropeless gear. And so we have a small cohort of fishers that are working with us so the way lobster and crab gear works is that you have a vertical line, and then all the other traps are attached to it. And so if we can eliminate this, which is what this on-demand gear does, it takes it and it keeps it compact down at the ocean floor. And then the fishers have, through GPS and receiver technology, the ability to have that pop up when they're over it. And then they can bring in their traps from there. So those are some of the really exciting things that are happening here in our office. We normally do, or in the past, we've been here since 2005 in the States, policy work. And we've obviously expanded a lot more so that we're doing more data collection and research and hands-on outreach and education. So that's what we do.
Great. Well, thank you. Danielle, please just quickly tell us your organization.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I am over at Dogs for Better Lives, which we've been around for 44 years, but we're new to Massachusetts, just opened our Northeast headquarters in Falmouth. So basically, we train assistance dogs for hearing assistance and autism assistance. And amazingly, we are able to give all these dogs to clients for free. Normally, it costs thousands for clients to be placed with a dog. So our model is that's what our fundraising is going for, sponsoring that dog. So learn more at dogsforbetterlives.org.
Thank you. And thank all of you for joining us today, for spending time touring through our programs, meeting our team, playing holiday games. We're thrilled you decided to spend an hour with us during this busy season. Please complete our survey. We would love to hear your feedback so we can tailor programs to your preferences and interests. Our next Fundraising Friday is January 7th. You can find a link for that in the chat. We hope you have a wonderful holiday. Thanks again. Please survey and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Everyone, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.